Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are listening and watching in from. This is Justin from Crown and Key and from the Rise Up podcast. I am very honored to be spending a bit of time talking with Pascal. My French is horrible, so please, everyone, give me some grace on that one. But he is the owner of Pascal pour Elle in Chicago, a very well-known stylist and hair salon, and do all amazing work in the Chicago area. And he also has a line of products that are in that arena. So we're going to kind of dive into that. So Pascal, welcome to the Rise Up podcast.
Thank you, Justin, for having me. I'm honored.
All right. Well, so let's kind of dive into it. I usually like to start off my interviews with kind of a 30,000 foot view, which is, tell me your backstory. How did you get into styling? How'd you get into salon? Where were you born and raised? How'd you get to America? I mean, you probably could talk a lot about that, but just kind of give me the lay of the land.
Yeah, I could talk for hours, but I'm going to try to make a very brief abbreviation of where I come from to where I'm at. I'm originally born in Casablanca, Morocco, which was a French colony in the early 60s, which they become independent. My parents moved from Casablanca to Paris in 1960s, early 60s. I was raised in Paris, went to school in Paris, and in France is what we call a professional orientation. I'm sure we have the same thing in America. When you're not made for academy, you just go for a manual job, like a plumber, carpenter, a trade school job.
Okay.
Yeah. I choose the beauty industry. So at 13 years old, instead of going to high school, I went to beauty school. I did my 3 years of beauty school in Europe. At 18 years old, for 2 years, from 16 to 18, I worked in a salon as an assistant, sweeping the floor, picking up plants, shampoo, laundries, and learning the trade. At 18 years old, fortunately or unfortunately, in France, we have to go to the military, which is mandatory for 1 year. If you don't go to a higher education, you got to go to military. So I did my year of military. After military, I went back into the beauty industry. And I started working for a very big salon named Jean-Marc Magnatis, which we did a lot of backstage work for fashion designer like Yves Saint Laurent, Ted Lapidus, Pierre Cardin, designer who doesn't exist these days. So I was behind the scene doing the hair for the runways, the fashion shows and everything. I did a little bit of modeling over the years, during those couple of years, and I realized then I didn't have any direction. I was a little bit lost, and I had an opportunity to move into the United States to do my work as a hairstylist, which I grabbed that opportunity in 1978, 1980s. And I started working again as an assistant, sweeping the floor, learning the language, having a couple of jobs to make some extra money. And over the years, it's been 30 years of the making to open my salon and be where I am today. So that's really like a short version of
I know.
where I come from.
So when did you open Pascal pour Elle?
The first salon I opened was in 1985. That was my first salon. Yes.
Wow. Describe to me, if you can, the what was going through your mind when you were, through that period. If you can reflect back on that period of time, what was going through your mind? And opening your own salon is, that's a big deal, right? So what were you struggling with it? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you if you can reflect back on that, where were you at in that stage?
When I started here in Chicago, I started with someone who was very famous named Charles Ifergan. We were working together. I moved to the United States to work with him as an assistant, and I built up a large clientele, and Charles offered me a partnership in the early 80s. So we together decided to open a salon in the northern suburbs of Chicago in Deerfield, which we did for about 4 years. And then I realized that my vision and his vision was different. I was not a partner, I was a worker, and it was time for me to launch. But in the meantime, what I did is I went to school at the Art Institute of Chicago to learn photography because at the time we used to hire the model from modeling school, from the modeling agency. We used to hire a photographer. We used to hire a wardrobe designer, and we used to put a photo shoot together, and we used to create our own brand about hair and makeup and stuff like that, how we market. It was no IV or a picture you could buy online. So
Yeah.
I decided then the photography was a vision, an extension of what I do as a beauty industry, being in the fashion business. So I decided to go to school and graduate from the Art Institute as a photographer. And when I offered my partner to, how you call, why don't I take over the photo shoot? Instead of wasting money on hiring a photographer, I could do it for free, and that'll give me a little bit more experience and stuff like that. And I will never forget that. He said to me, "You're not a photographer, you're a hairdresser."
Mm.
And I was very offended by that comment. And I said, you know what? It is time for me to move on. Because yes, I am a hairdresser, but I love photography. So when I decided to move on, I was very torn. Should I go to the direction of photography and become more like a fashion photographer? At the time, we were doing a lot of magazine. Marshall Field had his magazine. Lord and Taylor had their magazine. Everyone had a magazine shooting models. And I said to myself, I think I'm better at hair than I am at photography because I've been doing it for a longer time. So I second mortgage my house. I borrow money from the bank. I borrow money from my brother. And I decided to open my first salon. So I branched out from Charles to my salon. And I decided to get that direction. And that was the wise and the right decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how some people can see something in you that you didn't quite see at the time. And then you're like, oh yeah, maybe I am that, you know? Um, that's interesting. So you've been have you been in the same space since then?
Since then, I opened 4 locations. So the
Or
first
okay.
location, when I left my partner, I opened a salon in Winnetka. Then from Winnetka, I went and opened downtown Chicago at 507 Norwell. Then from Norwell, I opened a location in Glenview at the 1992 Tower Drive in Glenview in the town center. And from there, I went back downtown and opened another salon in Bucktown. So at one time, I had about 5 locations. Okay, I
Okay.
got Winnetka, Glencoe, Glenview, the Well Street, and Bucktown.
Okay. And then so kind of diving into the salon itself, how do your clients find you? Or do you have a very particular kind of style that you work within? I'm just curious on, your particular style. Are you known for something, or your salon's known for that, or are you just kind of like anybody who needs, certain clientele? Like, kind of walk me through that process.
Okay, so you don't start with a mega salon. You start one man operation, then you hire an assistant and you put them to a training program and build them up to be a hairdresser, and you hire another one and another one, another one, another one. I believe in education. I believe then better you train your assistant, better you train your assistant, better your team become. And then obviously there is a tremendous amount of marketing involved into it, reputation, presentation, and customer service. I will say then, if you go into a salon or a restaurant or a clothing store, wherever you go, if the customer service is top notch, the experience already is great. If
Mm,
the customer service is not there, you probably won't go back to the restaurant, you won't go back to the shopping center, or you won't go back to the beauty salon. So I focus very much on what we call a customer service. I want the ultimate experience for them to have when they come up into our salon, for the way they greeted at the front desk, to the choice of a beverage from cappuccino, espresso, cafe latte, carbonized water, waters, from a massage chair with a shampoo massage chair with a technician who are professionally do that for a living, shampoo and taking care of it. So it's the whole experience. So when you come to my salon and you leave, you feel, wow, that was an experience.
yeah.
Versus, oh, I just go and get my haircut.
Yeah. Not like you're going to Supercuts.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So did you, like, kind of diving into that a little bit, the experience of of your salon, is that something you recognized right away, or is that something that you had to evolve to based off of evolution of the business over time?
I come from the capital of fashion. I come from Paris. Okay, I was brought up in the fashion industry, being my brother being in the clothing business, my father being involved in the fashion. So I have a very good eyes of what I like. Okay,
Okay.
and it seemed then that what I like, people like it. I like the elegance of a salon. When you walk in, you want to feel special. When you walk in, you know that this is not a cheap operation. You know then you're going to pay a lot of money for the services. So the atmosphere you create, the design you created, okay, already give you an edge above the competitors. You walk in here and say, wow, this is very impressive. And you look at it and say, wow, there is a tone. There is people at the front desk with computer. There is a retail center who is as big as any retail center. I think it's all the experience of having a high end and the way you present yourself. I don't wear t-shirt, I don't wear jeans and tear down jeans or a baseball hat we wear in my salon, we all have a dress code. On the weekend, my team could wear jeans and nice elegant t-shirt, but on the weekend it's black and black and black. Okay, so it gives a certain fashion because that's what you want. You want to walk into the salon and have I say, wow, you're in a good hand. That's what we're known for.
Yeah. So, kind of speaking to that a little bit, then, as you've been in the industry for such a long time, do you um, like, how do your clients find you? Like, if they haven't found you or don't know that you exist yet, how do they find you? Is it like, are you primarily word of mouth? Do you do a lot of advertising? Like, what do you do in the Chicago area?
Okay, so we do a lot of different. Number one, we're very active on social media, Instagram, Facebook. This
All the
is
stuff.
today. Yesterday, before the evolution of internet and the social media, we used to do a lot of advertising campaign, paper print, newspaper. We did flyers. We did we never discount any services. We
Mm.
always send. We are a high-end salon. We provide those services, beautiful imagery, good slogan. I think somebody said to me, why you advertise so much? And business is good. I said, you know what? You advertise when business is good. That's when you have to advertise even more. Okay.
Mhm.
Because you want to be in the face of people constantly.
Time. Yeah.
Okay. When business is tough, you advertise as well. You want to open a magazine, see Pascal pour Elle. You want to open a newspaper, see Pascal pour Elle. And it become like when you go to the grocery store and you go for laundry detergent, you're going to buy Tide. Why are you going to buy Tide? Because
There.
your brain is conditioned to Tide,
Yeah.
okay, or Palmolive, or all those brands, and they don't need to advertise, but they keep advertising because advertising reinforces your brand, and it's stuck in your mind. So when you think of when you open a newspaper, you say, "Oh, Pascal pour Elle." Oh, you don't pay attention today. Then the next month, "Oh, Pascal pour Elle." You don't pay attention again today. And next month, I'm not that happy with my haircut. Let me try that salon.
Mhm.
Advertising is a longevity. You don't do
Mm.
one ad 1 year and one ad another year. You got to be constantly
Mhm.
advertising, even
Mhm.
when business is fantastic. You got to put your name up there. You become a household name. And that's what we were able to create for our marketing.
And you're really kind of like tapping into something here is a lot of business owners that I've come across, they think, "Oh, business is great. Like, I need to save money. Like, why don't I just stop because I'm good to go?" Well, that's the worst thing you can do. It's like, you need to keep that going because it's like, you literally just said it. Like, I may not be ready for a haircut today, but I might have a wedding coming up that I might want to get ready for. Or I might going to be on TV or I'm going to need this. Yeah, at some point, you want to be that brand, that name that when somebody thinks of it, when it's time, they call you.
Yeah.
So,
And then, I mean, again, you go to your hair salon and then, you're not really happy with your last haircut. and you don't know where to go. You don't have no idea. And then all of a sudden you look at Salon, you've been seen in the paper, say, oh, maybe I should try that Salon, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of people, advertising. It's not I don't call it a direct, it's not an immediate impact.
Yeah.
It's a longevity impact.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a brand you built over the years, and you cannot stop. You got to have a budget in your business to advertise. Right now, we're doing an advertising campaign, very interesting. Every week we're in the newspaper, and what we did is we pick up our clients, our existing client, from the blonde to the brunette, from the 12 years old to the 70 years old, from the short hair to the long hair. And then we present them and why did they choose Pascal, and we let them tell their story, the customer service. I love the front desk. I love the booking online. I think we make our client involved into what we do. And that's
Hmm.
the key tenet of it. We built a community in our salon. It's not just like go in and get your haircut.
Yeah. So kind of within your world, within the salon world, what kind of major shifts are you seeing within the industry? Now, in the last year, now in the future.
Over the years, we have changed a lot of our styling technique. I remember in the early 80s, everybody was wanted a curly hair and a permanent, and they're poofy and big and fluffy, the Farrah Fawcett. And over the years, I mean, I've been in the industry. I call myself a dinosaur because I've been in the industry for 40 years. So I've seen 4 decades of changes of fashion. Today, what people want is low maintenance. They don't want to have to blow dry that much. They don't want to have to be, they want to be able to, our generation now is more active. They go to the health club more often. So they wash their hair more often. So they want something easy to manage. Color is a very big thing in our industry. A lot of people are doing colors, from highlight to balayage to single process to color correction. It's a big thing. But I realized then when I started in the industry, we were doing cut and color. And then all of a sudden I said, whoa, look, we bring in a lot of people in here. I think we could do what we call a multi-services client. Why don't we add the manicure and pedicures? It's great. And then I said, why don't we have the makeup and facial? That's great. Why don't we add the how you call the product? That's great. So now we have what we call a multi-services client who's got a color, who's got a cut, who's got a manicure and pedicure, who's got how you call it, a facial, who buy product. So you have one client who's going to spend more money in your salon instead of going to different places. And what happened over the years, things change, and that's why you got always to reinvent yourself a little bit. So things change, like the spa, for example. Plastic chirurgians decided to open their med spa, okay, where they come up with more incentive product like hair laser removal, like Botox, fillers, derma dermabrasion. So we lost that spa business, okay? We're still doing a little bit of it, but we do the facial, the basic waxing, the simple services. Manicure and pedicure. Used to have a big business on manicure and pedicure, but all over a sudden, it seemed like the Korean or the Asian have taken over that industry, and they do much better job than we do on manicure and pedicure. So we lost that business as well. But what we were able to keep is what we do best, back to our roots, color and cut, and product. And with that, on focusing on those 3 items, we're able to increase our sales because we weren't spraying to 5 different departments. You understand?
Yeah. So when did the product line come into, because you have your own product line? When did you start that, and how has that been going?
That's been the product line's been about 15 years of making. Over the years, I've always wanted to have my own private line because I believe very strongly in product. And at the time, when I started in the industry, there is one product line, Vidal Sassoon. If you don't look good, we don't look good. I mean, the guy revolutionized the industry with just that little sentence of it. And then Paul Michel came
Mitchell
up
came
into the
along, yeah.
industry. And after Paul Michel, there was Evida who came up into the industry. And for a while, there was Orbi, and the products start stagnating a little bit, we didn't know what to do with retail. And all over the sudden, we have the Kerastas who come up, and the Orbi, and the Purology, and the Lobol M, and the R&Co. And I realized that there is a huge market in product. So I start implementing product into my salon, and I've experienced the Kerastas and the Orbi and the Bumble and Bumble and the R&Co, and I've played with every product, saying, you know what, I know what I like, I know what works for me. So I find a company and I say, hey, could you make me this? Could you make me that? Could you make me this? Could you make me that? So I create a line about 13Q. I don't have any shampoos and conditioner. All my product line is styling product.
Styling product.
Is volumizer tonic, is a heat protector, detangler, is moisturizer, is how you call a straightening balm, curling balm, hairspray. So I developed that product about 15 years ago. We went through a lot of change of logos, and you know, it has been an evolution. And finally now, I'm happy to say that in the last 4 years, we have a product who's doing extremely well. The matter of fact, we are planning to manufacture way more because we sell that product much better than any product we have in our salon.
Wow. Is that okay? So the difference between shampoo and conditioner and that side of, you know, of the product line that you decided not to do, and you focus more on the styling side, was that decision made because is it a completely different animal of how to create that product, or is that just because you're like, I just don't even want to deal with that, it was just a decision you made?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that everybody's trying to sell shampoos and conditioner. There is thousands and thousands and thousands of shampoos and conditioner. I am a stylist. Okay. What I do is style hair. I don't shampoo people.
Yeah.
I just style them. So I know what works to style a client hair. I know if they need a root lifter. I know if they need a moisturizer. I know if they need a straightening balm. I know if they need a heat protector, if they use flat iron or curling iron. So I really focus on a styling line because, number one, that differentiates me a little bit from the rest. I'm not trying to sell you shampoo and conditioner, but I'm selling you styling product because that's what I know. You could use any shampoo you want and any conditioner you want. I don't care. As long as you use those products to blow dry, to flat iron, to curl your hair. Those are what I know.
So, kind of looking at the salon and the product line, like looking at the business as a whole, what's getting the most of your attention these days? Are sales an issue? Are, you know, tariffs kind of playing into stuff? Like, what's kind of getting you up at night?
You know what? To be quite honest with you, I mean, again, I just told you earlier that I've been in the industry for over 40 years, and I had that wasn't a straight hill. I didn't come up the ladder quickly. It has been a lot of peak and valley days where I said, am I making it? Am I going to lose everything? Am I making it? But I realized one thing, and if you believe of who you are and the service you provide, okay, you will remain in business. We are today stronger than we ever been. The last couple of years has been probably the best year I had in my 40 years in business. I attribute that to the team I was able to create. I think it's the energy you provide to your people. If you people come up and they're happy to be where they are, they're going to project a positive energy where people want to be with them. If you create a negative energy and people's not going to want to be with you, as you know, the positive bring the negative leave. Okay. So I think what I attribute the success of our salon is the energy I'm able to provide into the salon. And I've talked to the shampoo person, the shampoo tech, the same way that I talk to my top producer. Okay. I have the same value. I talk to them the same way. I'm not saying, oh, you're the shampoo girl, go. Oh, you the top. Oh, yes. It's consider them in the same level. Without the shampoo girl, my service producer won't be able to produce as well. Without the maintenance man to sweep and clean, the salon will remain as pretty as it is. So I think to me, the attribute of the success is the teamwork you build, the energy you create, and the quality of service you provide. The education as well. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're really kind of diving into what really true leadership is. It's treating people like they deserve to be treated, regardless of what level they're at. Because someday maybe the person who's like you, who was sweeping the floor, who was doing whatever was needed to be done, might be their own, salon, owner someday, or might be a hairstylist someday. So it's, I think a lot. I've met some people in the past. I'm not going to name names here, but they're, they just see leadership as it's my way or the highway, and that's really not it. It's serving your staff and serving the people who you've hired so that they can be the best at what they do. Bring that positive energy right into it. Like, I don't know about you. I've worked for some bosses in the past that have not been the best. And I tell you, it is not a fun experience when you go to work. You're like, oh, boy, here we are. You know what I mean? So I applaud you for that. I applaud you for it's a lesson for people, watching this. If you're, maybe a good reality check. If you're, if you're, coming in and spreading negativity to your team, maybe you should do some self-reflection a little bit, Okay. I'll get off my high horse. I'm sorry about that.
But it's
Yeah.
like I give you another example, a couple of example. I mean, you get a captain of a boat. If the captain doesn't know how to manage his crew, the boat's not going to sail in the right direction. He
Yeah.
has to have a team. Same as a football team. When you get a quarterback, if the quarterback doesn't coordinate with his receiver, his front line, he's never going to score. So to me, it's not one person who's the key of success. It's a team who is the keys of success. And what I was able to create over the years is a team. We all work together because we know that if we succeed, we all succeed. If we fail,
Everyone
we
wins.
all fail. That's the key tenets of my big talk to my team. I said, guys, we got to work together. We got to understand each other. And what I do also is once a month, I have a lunch for all my staff. Every 3 weeks on Friday, the third Friday of every month, I order lunch for the 65 people, and they all sit outside and eat lunch and mingle with each other because sometimes we don't have the time to talk to the hairdresser next to you or the colorist in the room or the one who's upstairs. So by bringing them for lunch, they all have a chance to mingle a little bit, and that creates a positive energy. So you reinvest in them, and they appreciate that. They know that.
And what a small investment, right?
Yes,
For the
yes,
long play, right? That's
yeah,
what you're kind
yeah.
of leading into. These are these
And the
investments
other
you make.
thing I've learned is listen to them, listen to their concern. Don't ignore them. Don't put them aside. I know. You listen to them because the small little thing could make everybody happy. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So
mhm.
I'm always willing to understand and listen to be able to grow the business.
So, kind of shifting gears just a little bit with AI, artificial intelligence kind of, hitting the ground running this year. That it's been around for a little bit, but really taken track over the last year or two. How are you seeing AI, or are you seeing it at all in the salon industry? Like, how are you using it? How are you seeing it? Like,
I mean, we use Chat GPT to write some of our, how you call columns or advertising, but I don't think, what we do, there is no machine who's going to take over. Okay,
yeah,
because every customer is different. Every customer has different type of hair. Every customer wants different lengths or different colors. Then AI might be able to process the color faster, like mix it up together faster and maybe save us a little bit more money on product. But I don't see AI doing anything into our industry. Maybe the booking online might be a little bit more efficient. The,
yeah,
the retail might be a little bit more efficient, but the manual work,
yeah.
the behind the chair, cutting hair and coloring hair, I'm not worried about AI at all.
Yeah.
That's not
I mean, because
the
it's, I mean, truly, really what it is, I mean, you're an artist, right? Your
yeah.
hairstylists are artists in their own right. So, I mean, I can understand why AI wouldn't affect that. So, what has been one of the biggest client wins that you've had so far this year, either within the business or a story you've heard? Do you have anything you'd like to share?
What do you mean by that? Could you rephrase?
I don't know, like I'm being hypothetical here. Maybe somebody came into one of your salons who just really needed, you know, words of encouragement, or they needed, some work done and you guys were able to help them get ready for an event that was successful. Or, maybe an employee was, going through something and your team worked together to solve that, make that happen. I'm just kind of giving you some ideas
I
here,
mean,
but
I went to an event about a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know that many people, couple people, and a woman. I was introduced to a woman, and she said, "Oh, you Pascal?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh my God, oh my God." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I went to your salon for the first time," and she said, "Let me tell you one thing. I'm a salon whore. I go everywhere, but." But I was so impressed by the presentation of your salon, the
mm,
customer service, the way I was greeted at the front desk, the quality of service, the massage chair you get when you get a shampoo, the choice of beverage. She said, "You know what? I'm hooked. I will never go anywhere. And I've been everywhere." So to me, when I hear that, and I find out who did it, the colorist and the hairdresser, I came back the following week in the salon. I picked them up together and I said, "Hey, I just want you to know, this is what I hear about you guys. You've done a great job." It's very rewarding when you hear
mhm.
clients speaking so highly about the experience they have in the salon. It's like when I walk into my house. It's my house. I walk, I go in my fridge, I pick up, I sit in front of my TV and stuff like that. But when somebody walk into my house, their eyes, "Oh my God, this is beautiful. This is incredible." The same time of my salon. If you walk into my salon the first time, you're gonna say you're gonna be. It's a wow factor. Okay, we have a
Wow.
sky dome, a stainless steel glass dome. We have a huge chandeliers. We have a 30-feet ceiling. I mean, it is magnificent.
Wow.
But when you go there every day, you don't pay attention to it. But when you come
Yeah.
up the first time, you say, "Ah, this is impressive."
Yeah.
And that's the effect we want to give to the client, not only by the beauty and the presence of our salon, but the customer service, the presentation, and the quality of service we give to our client. That's what my main focus has been.
And I bet you as the owner, and been in the business for such a long time, I bet you those stories never get old.
No, no,
Right.
I love to hear that.
You know
And
what I
every
mean?
time I hear something, I always come up and say to myself, "Hey, I just want you to know that I met that client. She said that about you." That make them feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all about feeling good in that. We are in the feel
Yeah.
good business. You come
Yeah.
to us, you leave happy. It's not like you go to see a lawyer and you leave pissed off. That's true. Every time I see my lawyer or my accountant, every time I see my lawyer or my accountant, I'm pissed off. But when
Yeah.
I go to the salon, I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. You make people's lives better. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean,
Yeah,
it's got to be so, so rewarding on many, many, many levels, just you get to bring joy into people's lives. Like
exactly,
what,
exactly.
you know, and by the way, are you still active at the chair, or have you stepped back over
I
time?
step back a little bit. I mean, I work maybe like 15 hours a week. I mean, I come to the salon every day because there is a lot of stuff to take care of, the product line, the advertising, the account, and the management, and the meeting with
Yeah.
my staff. But I fade away from the chair. I keep a couple dozen of clients who I've been doing over the years, which I love, and I keep doing as long as I could do it. But I'm not taking any new client. I'm not interested in building any clientele.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much fading away from the chair. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have a friend of mine who's a really well-known stylist in San Diego. His name's Travis Parker, and he's kind of similar to you. He's built a really amazing team, and and has kind of he still does hair, but he's more on the educational side and kind of helps with that. But maybe in someday you guys will meet. He's a really cool dude. So okay, kind of keeping us on track a little bit. What marketing channels are working really, really well for you these days? I mean, you've mentioned, you're doing all sorts of things, from print advertising to online to whatever. But what's the best avenue that you've seen the most traction from?
Word of mouth, word of mouth. I mean, client referring client, that's the number one new client generation in our salon. Word of mouth. People who go out says, "Oh, I love your hair. Where do you go?" I think that's the number one trend. The number two is the advertising, the paper print of I mean, we living in a very superficial world where you look at you, oh my God, she's beautiful. But if you don't have nothing inside, you're not that beautiful to me. Okay. So to me, I've never believed in showing gorgeous women with gorgeous hair because the population doesn't look like that. Those are quite the few. Okay. I mean, I've worked behind the scene in fashion shows and I've seen some gorgeous women and there is a few of them who are like that. That's why we call them supermodel. So
They're
for you
super.
to take a yeah, and that for you to take a supermodel and do her hair and do an ad, it's misleading the people. So I like to take normal people like you, like me, like normal people, and give them a little bit makeover and present them to the public. They could relate to them more than that supermodel with
Yeah.
gorgeous lips and gorgeous eyes.
Yeah.
So I think to me, I sell more the true value of who we are, not
Uh,
basically of pretending you're going to be like when I see the ad of a plastic chirurgeon, they show you those gorgeous girls with those beautiful breasts. I mean, this is not real. You know what I'm
you're like,
saying?
yeah,
I mean,
that's not the average
the
mom,
gorgeous body. I mean, it's not real. So I'm not selling a product I can deliver. I sell a product I could definitely deliver. And I'm reaching a clientele who could relate to us versus, oh my God, this guy is like, he's in La La Land.
It's like unattainable.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what does the next evolution of Pascal por Elle look like?
I mean, keep doing what we're doing. We've been growing every year. Keep adding to my staff. I'm always in quest and research of new product and services. We started, like I said, doing the hair. Then we start doing the hair extension, which is a big business for us.
Yeah.
We did the halo in new form of extension. We do the Brazilian, which is a hair straightener. We did the mill bond, which is a straightener. We always try to find a new product, a new technique to be able to bring to what we know. But why reinventing the wheels when the wheel's doing very well? Keep
Right.
adding to it. And that's what we do. We're not going to change the models or the concept or the ideas or the vision of what we do. What we're going to do is we're going to keep adding of what we do and bring more services. It's like Starbucks, okay? Every couple of months they come up with a new product,
Hmm.
okay? And say, oh, I didn't see this one. And that's where we are. We are at the point where we have a well-oiled machine, okay, where we need to bring new ideas time to time, new product, new service, new technique to be able to say, hey, we're still in the leading edge of our industry. And that's what it's all about.
Okay. Evolving with the times, evolving with the
Exactly.
trends, evolving with it. Okay. If you could wave a metaphorical magic wand in your business and fix one thing, what would that be?
Rephrase the question in different ways.
So in every business, I'll try to say it, like imagine, yeah. So in every business, they're regardless of who they are, there's always just this pestering thing that just doesn't ever seem to be fixed or resolved. And that could be marketing, that could be operational, it could be staff issues, it could be whatever. So if you could just put some, pixie dust over it and just say, I want this problem to go away, what would that be? That makes sense?
Over the
I'm trying to make
years,
sense.
yeah, I think over the years, I have a very big heart. I'm always like, I like to give, and I always believe in I always believe in people. But sometimes you got to be careful who you believe in. I believe in one of my manager who was in access of all my salon and everything. And then she wasn't reflecting my vision. And as much as I tried to train her and mentor her and educated her about the way we run a business, she was never able to do it. And I knew that, and I should have let her go way sooner than I did. But when
Mm.
I did let her go, she went behind me and betrayed me, went to the competitor and give all my trade secret, what make me as
Oh.
a salon. So I realized that when somebody is not right, you got to cut them off right away. You can't
Mm.
just hoping that they're going to change. And
Mm.
that was the downside of what I would have changed. I had a colorist who was a nightmare and I didn't want to get rid of him because I felt like, I couldn't do that. If I had to do it in the position that I am today, I would have let him go immediately because he
Mm.
was a cancer into my salon. And
Mm.
when you have a rotten apple, the
Mm.
apple has tendency to rot the rest of the basket of apple.
Mm.
So I wasn't mature enough, or I was too kind enough to not recognize that at the time.
Mm.
Now I realize that if there is a bad element in the salon, get rid of it immediately because cancer spread rapidly.
Mm.
And then when that happens, then we lose control.
Do you think when you like kind of in that, like thinking about that a little bit, as a leader, you're in charge of a staff and you're trying to make sure that your vision is executed and you're encouraging and all that. When you like speak, when you say immediately, when is there just a little bit of grace in that? Meaning, hey, you see something, correct it, and if they don't correct it, then they're gone? Or do you give them or do you found yourself? I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I'm trying to get my words out.
No, I get what you said. I think I
Yeah,
understand what you said. Is give them a little grace period. You give
yeah,
them one warning, two warning, by the third
yeah,
morning you gotta go.
yeah,
Okay. Before I give them one morning, two warning, three morning, four morning, five morning, six morning, and
and then you're
until the
like,
time where it's like it's not working. So I think to
yeah,
me,
okay,
if something is wrong, you sit down with them, you explain to them what's wrong, what needs to be changed, and give them time. If it happened again, say, look, this is the second time I said that. I said we need to modify that. If we can't, we're gonna have to make a decision. And by the third time, he said, look, we've said it two times, it's not working. It's time for us to break
time to go.
apart. And I
Yeah,
want to wish you the best of luck in your
yeah.
venture. But not uh, procrastinate, like waiting too long
Over
before you let
like
somebody go
15
because
mornings.
yeah, you can give
You're
15
like,
morning, and that's what I did. That was the if you when you ask me what would I change, I think after the third warning you gotta go. You
yeah,
can't, you
okay,
can't, you can't keep them now because
okay,
people are who they are. You're not here to change them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, would your answer be the same with this question? I like to ask this question too, which is if you could give yourself, your younger self, one piece of business advice, what would that be? Would it be the same advice or is there something
Yes.
else you would say? It
Yes.
would be the same.
Definitely.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then also, don't be afraid to taking chances. Don't be afraid to break the mold. Don't
Mm.
be afraid to be who you are, and don't be afraid to come up with new ideas. Don't stag in the past. Live in the present and have vision for the future. But
Mm.
stag. Don't think because this is working, then we're gonna rise. You got to keep working hard to make it better and better and better.
Better and better.
And that's what I learned over the year. That's what I will give my. That's what I give myself when I was younger. You could do better. I know you
Mhm.
could do better. I know you will do better. I think you got to think positively. Thinking positively will give you an edge.
Yeah. Do you think like when it comes to taking chances, are you very calculated in the way you do that, or you just sometimes you just know it in your gut? You're just like, I know this is right. I don't know have the answers, but I'm ready to take that chance. I mean, what's your process of working through that?
It's a combination of both. Your guts tell you it's
Okay.
the right thing to do, and then but you get calculated. You got to say, okay, am I picking up the right location? Am I investing the right amount of money? How long is going to take me to recoup my investment? How do I see the business in the next 5 years? You can't just go blindsided and say, oh, I love the location. Let me put $500,000 and everything's going to be fun. No, you got to do a
Yeah.
projection, how many people you need, how many haircuts you need to be able to cover the rent. What is the cost of product? What is the cost of construction? What is the cost of the rent? What is the cost of air? You got to put a number. I'm very calculated when I open a business. Is that I do the very deep analysis of what the cost is
Mm.
before even doing the business. How much the rent is going to be, how much the electrical is going to be, how much the product, the construction, the chair, the electrical,
All
and
the moving
everything.
parts.
You got
Yeah.
to put the whole plan together and say,
Yeah.
okay, now that's 10,000. How many people do I need to do to cover that 10,000? How many clients we need to do? How many stylists? After you take the stylist, they do 10 clients. You got to give them half of that money. So you never go blindsided. When you're
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
business, you just got to have a
Yeah.
plan, have a
Well, I
game
guess
plan.
it depends on the risk too, like what you're actually doing. I mean, on something like what you just mentioned, that's a huge risk, but it could be something smaller like, hey, we're going to try this product line.
But that's different.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
different way of
Yeah, yeah. I
processing it.
mean,
Okay.
there is a difference between investing $2,500 and investing $500,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
$2,500. I said, hey, you like that product line? Just bring it on board. If it doesn't work, we'll give it to the
Get
client.
rid of it. Yeah, okay.
That that's a
All right,
different risk.
I have two more questions for you. First one is a little bit more reflective, and the last one's a little bit of a fun one. The first one is if you could, somebody hearing your story today, the journey you've been on over 40 years of being in the industry and the ups and downs and everything you've learned, what is one thing you hope somebody could walk away with?
I will say, don't be afraid to take a chance. Believe in yourself. Have a game plan. Those are the 3-10. Believe in yourself. Have a game plan and take chances.
Mm,
Because without taking chances, you're never going to succeed,
right.
you know? And you got to scale the risk and the reward of what you're planning to do. What is the risk and what is the reward? So those are the 10 I would say to look into when you want to do something. Just evaluate the situation and believe in yourself. If you believe in
Yeah.
yourself, you could make things happen. And choose something. I'm a great believer that we all have been given a gift. Okay. My gift was to do hair and to do photography. Okay. I was lucky and fortunate to be able to find that as a younger age. Some people has gift, they never find out.
Mm,
You know, you
hmm
gifted, look what you're doing right now. You love what you do. You're happy doing what you're doing.
hmm
Okay. And you're doing it because you love it. Not
hmm
because it's going to bring you a lot of money. It's because you love it. But if you love what you do, that's success to me.
Yeah.
When I went into the hair
Yeah.
business, I never thought you could make the money I make ever. I
Wow.
thought I'd make a living. I live in an apartment. I'll have your food in my table.
Yeah.
Now I'm driving a Ferrari. I have a Maserati. I have a $2 million penthouse. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. It's the reward of all the hard work you've put in, pouring yourself into your business and everything that you believe in, in your craft. So I really, really appreciate what you're sharing with me today, and I really appreciate those words of advice. And I have one kind of fun kind of question I like to end with, which is anything you like to highlight or promote you got going on in your world? I'm happy to give you the floor.
I think, I'm working very hard on my product line. I wish, that was reaching the level I want to be. I'm still have a long way to go. I have a fantastic styling product line where I'm working very hard. This is my goal. That's my legacy. That's what I want to leave behind. I want to be able to make that product like a national product line. It's a fantastic product. And that's basically that's what I'm working on right now. That's
That's
the the
awesome.
the, the, the ideas of product.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's in store for that. And just, as I always do, I always try to promote you and get people in touch with you. So I'll put links in the show notes. So Pascal, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your heart and your vision and everything you've done to get to where you are today. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you, Justin. I really appreciate of you having me in your show. And again, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that concludes today's episode. Thank you so much, Pascal. And stay tuned for the next person, whoever that is. And we'll see you next time on the Rise Up podcast. See you, everybody. Have a great day.